another episode of FM1 Spotlight. My name is Jada, and today we are going to be talking to a very young singer-songwriter. Yes, emphasis on very young. He is from Magnolia, Texas, who wants to forge deeper connections with those around him by reaching deep inside to expose the commonalities that bond everyone in the universe. So simply put, he wants to reach out to people, to everybody in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all welcome Zachary Knowles.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is sweet.
Hi, Zachary. So where are you right now? Where is this conversation happening for you?
I'm in Texas right now.
How are you doing today? How's your day like today?
I'm doing well. I'm pumped for this album. So all day I've just kind of been working on promoting it and getting the word out and just getting excited, honestly. I'm really excited to put it out.
Okay, so let's get right to it then. Okay, let's talk about your debut album. Congratulations, by the way. Tendency
Thank
to
you.
Be a Loner. Wow. That is it's a long title for an album, and it's very meaningful at the
Yeah.
same time. So you have a new single that came out, Stranger to Me. It's essentially a breakup song, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It's just about a relationship not meant to be. So yeah.
So there are so many breakup songs that came out this pandemic, this whole year and a half, and,
Yeah.
and I'm sure there's going to be more to come. In the next few months. How different is this breakup song, "Stranger to Me," to the other ones that we've heard so far?
Stranger to Me is interesting because I feel like the first time you hear it, you might not even realize how sad it is because it's so like upbeat. And like most people I've heard from, at least, they say the second or third time they hear it, they're like, oof, that hit me like different, because first time you hear it, you're kind of like bumping around to it. And then you realize like, ooh, that's actually really sad. But I think this one's different because in like the context of the story, there's not really like much bad blood between the two people. I think it's more so two people just kind of drifted apart and realized like, hey, we're not meant for each other. Like I'm noticing signs that like we're just not meant for each other. Whereas I think a lot of breakup songs might be about like harsh circumstances or like severe heartbreak, where this one's just kind of like I don't know, like a slow drift apart.
Yeah, it's like something. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's decide that we're not meant for each other, and let's part as maybe not really friends, but two people who are still good with each other.
Right. Yeah.
So before you came out with "Stranger to Me," you had "Dancing in the Kitchen."
Yeah.
And how far apart were these songs made, like "Dancing in the Kitchen" and "Stranger to Me"?
That's a great question. They were actually made pretty close to each other. It was like right as some traveling had opened up, and so I was just stuck at home for so long, and as soon as I got to meet up with my friends and make those songs, we just wanted to make things that were upbeat because a lot of my previous stuff was slower. So those were definitely a result of me being like stuck at home and just wanting to make something that like felt more upbeat and like gave people an excuse to dance and like feel happy. And I feel like a lot of people just were stuck and just wanted to help them and myself.
Because I don't know if I'm reading too much into this. "Dancing in the Kitchen" for me is like you're still in a courtship stage with somebody. So I'm thinking, okay,
Yeah.
So he made a song when he was so inspired by this somebody, and then all of a sudden, "Stranger to Me." Wow, that was pretty quick. That went down pretty quick. That relationship went down pretty quick. So what inspires you to make these songs? I mean, is this like your own personal story, or is it the story of somebody that you know?
I think being stuck at home and like having traveling and everything stripped away made me push myself as like a storyteller more. Whereas like in the past, I've written a lot about personal experiences. I started like challenging myself with telling other people's stories. So I like to put myself in like shoes that I've like never necessarily experienced. So a lot of like the newer stuff, I'm just entering into like a world of like heartbreak or like a world of like pure joy, or like basically just trying to tell stories and give people, because I think like as an artist, you have the ability to tell your own story, which I love to do, but you also have the ability to like help tell other people's stories and give them a body of work that they're like, oh, this is like me, or like something I'm going through. So I think that like both of those kind of come from a place of that, I would say. Just, like,
So my next question, you already answered in your first sentence to the answer to the previous question that I gave out. That confused me quite a bit. But I was supposed to ask you, how has this pandemic affected, okay, not your writing, but the creative process then?
Oh yeah, it was definitely, it caught me off guard for sure. Like, I'm super inspired by being able to travel and meet new people and like just connect with people like in person. And so having all that stripped away was a huge shock, and honestly like left me unmotivated and like uninspired for a minute, and challenged me to like push myself outside of my comfort zone, like I was talking about with writing, and just figuring out new ways to be inspired, and made me pick up like Zoom calls and like figure out how to be comfortable with that, and like connecting with people over Zoom and stuff. But it wound up turning into something really cool, and definitely got like more used to it. And so, yeah.
Cool and comfortable, I suppose. Right?
Yeah.
Cool. And yeah, the promotions, the tours, virtual tours that you're doing right now, talking to everybody in the world, which is actually, and it's such a short span of time. Imagine you're doing several interviews all over the world in just one day. And that in reality, if we didn't have the pandemic, you can't do that in real life. Physically, it's not possible.
Yeah, it's wild.
Okay, so let's talk about your album, Tendency to Be a Loner. So I read somewhere in an article in one of your interviews that you are an introvert. How is that working, collaborating with other artists like Alexander 23 and Ash? You've collaborated with, right, Stranger to Me, and if I'm not mistaken, Dancing in the Kitchen. So how does a loner deal with collaborations, especially sharing his artwork?
Yeah, I think at first it was a challenge for me. Like whenever I first started traveling out to LA, that's like where I usually will work on things with other people. It was interesting. I kind of just had to like get in a different mindset, like a different zone, and just go for it, and like really push myself to be myself and like get outside my comfort zone. But I think from like an introvert like perspective, like big groups, I think is what I can just get exhausted. Like if I'm like in big groups. And so having a one-on-one writing session with someone, I think was actually a lot more comfortable than I thought that it would be. At least like I'm a lot more comfortable in that environment. So it felt very natural, and I had a ton of fun. Honestly, it felt super real and like genuine whenever I was meeting up with them to work. So yeah.
And this is like the perfect time for somebody like you, an introvert, to start collaborating and meeting people, because it's very slow. You know, you're going to be, slowly introduced into big crowds. It's going to be slowly and surely for sure. Now, you know what? I got a few minutes left with you. I have to let you go in just a few shakes, but let's do this very, very quickly, very fast. Okay, think fast. All right, so let's do the last thing. I picked this up from one of those e-magazines. Anyway, okay, the last thing you ate.
Oh, the last thing I ate? I just had like fried rice with beef and chicken and shrimp. That's what I just had.
Wow, that's a lot.
From a sushi place, like right down the street.
Okay, but that's a lot, but that's delicious. Okay, the last thought you had before you slept last night.
Oh my goodness. The last thought I had before I slept last night? Probably that I was thirsty and dehydrated. I didn't drink enough water.
And you didn't stand up to grab a drink because you were too lazy because you were going to go to sleep. Okay, the last text message you sent.
Ooh, an old friend I haven't seen in like 2 years texted me and said he's in town. So I said, let's hang out. Let's hang out Saturday.
So does that answer the last text message you received?
Ooh, I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Perhaps, right? Okay. The last song you played before this interview.
The last song I played, the song "Good Things" that's on the album.
Oh, okay. So looking forward to hearing the whole album, and so excited for you, Zachary Knowles. Why don't you invite your Filipino fans to check out your album and keep on requesting and voting for your song for the countdowns?
Yeah, I just want to say thank y'all for listening, supporting me. It's crazy that I'm in Texas and there's people all over the world and where y'all are at just listening to me. It's wild, and I can't wait to come and visit. Yeah, you can hear my music anywhere, and I really look forward to sharing this album with you, and let me know how y'all like it too. I love hearing from people. So yeah, thank y'all.
Thank you so much, Zachary Knowles. Stay safe, and good luck once again to your future endeavors. Once again, this is FM1 Spotlight. Check us out at Republika FM1 Manila on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and at Republika FM1 on Twitter. And keep on tuning in to the #1 radio station on your dial, 875 Republika FM1.
Shout out to Team Manila, available online through dailygrindstore.com, Team Manila Shopee, and Lazada stores.
Microphones on and camera set. We've heard their sound, and now it's time for us to ask around. FM1 Spotlight on Republika, exclusively on FM1.